Hey there, welcome to Cooking with Kenny G. Now in today's video, I am going to be making a vegan chocolate tart. I know you say, how are you gonna do that? I'm gonna show you, you gotta watch the video to see. But this thing is so rich, full of flavor. It's not super sweet, but sweet enough that it's a dessert anyway. A few secrets about what's inside. Gotta watch the video to see. And then don't forget, stay to the end of the video. I'm gonna show you how to do this beautiful presentation. Look at that. Now, if I can do it, you can definitely do it. All right, I'm gonna run you through the recipe. Again, like I've said before, don't wanna repeat myself, but I will. Comment box down below, there will be a PDF of this recipe that you'll be able to download, print off, use it, put it in your cookbook if you wanna do it. So pitter patter, let's get at it. Let's make a vegan chocolate tart for dessert. Well, first things first, and remember that word that I always use, mise en place. Let's get our mise en place together. So the equipment that you're gonna need for this is, now this is optional, digital scale. I like to use it when I'm baking for weighing out all my ingredients, obviously. Got some measuring spoons, measuring cups, stainless steel bowl. Now, of course, blue scraper, don't forget about that. Whether I use it or not, I don't care, I love it, it's always there. Rubber spatula, probably a couple of little teaspoons that you'll need. A knife, even though we're baking, not cooking, I'm gonna have to chop up the chocolate, so we're gonna use a knife. Now I've got this super sexy tart pan. It's 9-inch. The bottom comes out of it. I think it's called a quiche pan anyway, but or a tart or a quiche pan. 9-inch, yeah, it's beautiful. You can use a springform pan though if you have one of those. So the reason you need a springform or one of these pans is you have to be able to pop the pie out of its dish. If you have it in a cake pan, it'll be hard to get out, so do that. A small pot for water, and then a little bowl like that that's gonna fit inside, enough water so it just makes enough steam in there to melt the chocolate. The museum piece, my grandmother's food processor. Again, this bad boy has been taking a licking, keeps on ticking for years. So you don't have to go to the museum to get one. If you have one, you can just use the one you have. Yeah, anyway, I use that one. That thing is like bulletproof, self-destructible. Self-destructible? Indestructible. It might self-destruct, but it's indestructible. All right, that's the equipment that we're gonna need. First thing you're gonna do though, turn the oven on 350 degrees and then get all the ingredients together. I'm gonna go through it. Don't forget the recipe will be down below. I'll put a link for a PDF, you can print it off. Follow the recipe, follow along, or follow the video. Video is way better than the recipe, because you got me. All right, let's get that oven warmed up, 350. Now that's gonna be for the tart shell. This is a no-bake recipe. It's also, if I didn't mention before, it's vegan. This one is also gluten-free too, so that's pretty much getting everybody. And also this one too, other than the chocolate in it, I'm gonna use some alternative sweeteners in that. We're gonna lower down the glycemic count in this one too. There you go. So mise en place of all your equipment. Again, get it together. Less stress, less mess. Now let's go through all the food ingredients that you're gonna need while that thing heats up. I'll clear up a little bit of space here so I can get working. For the crust, it is 5 ingredients. I've got unsweetened coconut here. Now this is half a cup or 45 grams. I've got 1.5 cups or 155 grams of almond flour. I've got here 2 tablespoons or 30 mils of coconut oil. Now, believe it or not, this was solid when I started, but it's been an unusually hot day today. It's a hot one up here in the west coast. Now I've got 2 tablespoons, this is a sweetener that I was talking about, 2 tablespoons of monk fruit sweetener. Now this is made from monk fruit, and then they put another ingredient in there. It's gonna be hard for me to pronounce. Erythritol, which is also another sweetener. Quite a bit sweeter than sugar, so you have to use less of it in your dish, which is gonna lower down the carbs and the calories. Okay, for the filling, you're gonna need 2 avocados. Cocoa powder, I've got 1/3 of a cup, 35 grams of cocoa powder, and that's unsweetened cocoa powder. I've got 250 grams or 9 ounces of dark chocolate. Try and get the highest quality chocolate that you possibly can. I've got here 3/4 of a cup or 180 mils of coconut cream. So that's a non-dairy cream that's gonna go in to make it really rich along with the avocados. It's a nice rich tart. I've got 1 tablespoon of that monk fruit sweetener that I was talking about and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items for that. Let's get that crust going. I'll show you how that works. And then also we're gonna get the filling started. So while I'm doing the crust, I got my little pot going on there that has a little bit of water in it. And it's heating up the bowl, so I'm gonna melt the chocolate in that, all right? Little tip for the chocolate though, if you want it to melt down, cut it up a little bit smaller. That big chunk's gonna take forever to melt. Just take your cutting board. Little tip, wet rag underneath so your board doesn't slide all over the place. I'm gonna try and give you more tips today than a bellman at a high-class hotel gets. So let's go here. Now with the chocolate, just take the tip of your knife. Make sure your knife is big enough too. Don't use a little one. Fingers away. Just put the point of the knife in there, work it in slowly. Make sure you got a cutting board underneath too. Yeah, and then just break it up like that. Smaller pieces. Keep the blade away from you too. Remember, safety never takes a holiday. That's probably good enough. Forgot the ridiculous blue gloves too, don't forget that. Let's get the chocolate in there and then we're gonna start on that crust. See, the blue scraper did come in handy for something. All right, let's get that on the stove. Get started on the crust. I'll bring you a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, this one's super easy. Just put all the ingredients in the food processor, buzz them up. Now you want it to look a little bit like wet sand. So I've got the almond in there, got the coconut flakes in there, cocoa powder. Cocoa powder is going to make a nice chocolatey crust for this. Got that monk fruit sweetener in there, and of course the the really melted coconut oil because it's so hot today. Normally that stuff's a little bit more solid, so it might take a little bit longer to blend it up. I got a feeling this is going to blend up pretty quick. Stop, do a little stir. Now you want it to be able to press together when you put it in the pan, so put a little bit more coconut oil in that. All right, I'm gonna put another teaspoon in there. Not too much, I don't want it to be really greasy, but it's gotta hold together in the oven. Yeah, it's looking better. That'll work. Put it in the pan, show you what that looks like. Get it in the oven for 15 minutes. Little pan spray, just so it doesn't stick. All right, let's get this crust out. I'm just gonna press that out, press it down flat on the bottom and then up the edges. So just press it out till you get an even crust on there. If you want, get your fingers in there too. Press it out. That way too, I can kind of feel the thickness that this is. Make sure you wash your hands though. Goes without saying, right? Get that edge on there. Now the reason I want an edge on there too is when I put the liquid filling in, it would go all over the edges and then into my pan. It looks pretty even, pretty good. Get some of those flutes in there. Beautiful. All right, let's go in the oven. 15 minutes. Set the timer, 350. Get it in the oven. Timer set for 15 minutes. The crust is in. Let's have a look at this chocolate. See if it's melting. Oh yeah, look at that. Gorgeous. Who doesn't love chocolate? That's gonna melt away there. We're gonna start working on the rest of the filling. I've washed out the bowl for Old Relic. She's gonna get some more work. Now, 2 avocados in there. Cut the avocado in half. Give it a twist. Twist out that core that's in there. Be careful when you do this, so don't like hammer through. You're gonna cut your hand. Trying to think of a joke for that. Got no joke. That spoon I was talking about, I knew we needed it for something, so I just scoop out that avocado. I'm gonna cut them in half. Now, who would have thought that avocados would have been great in a dessert, but it actually is really good for a vegan dessert. There's a lot of fat in avocados, but it's good fat. So that's gonna add to some richness in there. And the flavor doesn't really transfer through. You don't really taste avocado in it. It just gives it that nice richness. All right, let's have a look at that chocolate. Don't forget the glove. I just leave it lying around, forget about it. That's good, it's melted. Let's get the rest of the ingredients in here. We've got the sweetener in there. Gonna put the cocoa powder in there. A little bit of vanilla, and then the coconut cream. It smells so good. I love the smell of coconut. It reminds me of being on holidays. We'll look at the chocolate, and then we'll get this buzzing up. Chocolate is melted. Watch the steam when you take off the container. Maybe grab a towel, just wipe off the bottom too. All right, there is the chocolate there. All right, there are all the ingredients in there. Start mashing everything up. Okay, let's have a look at that. Oh, yeah, looking nice and smooth. Okay, I'm gonna add the chocolate into that. Just gonna mix it around. Oh yeah, vegan chocolate tart. Who said vegans can't have fun too? Not me. Get that ready there. All right, looks good. Okay, I'm gonna get it out of here. Timer's gone off. Here's another tip for you too. While it's still warm after it just comes out, just press it down there a little bit around the edges. That just helps smooth it out. compresses it down a little bit more, makes a little bit more of a crust. Nice and even. All right, I'm gonna let that cool down a little bit more and get into the freezer. Get it chilled right out. Yeah, looks good. Old relic, she survived another one. That girl is tough. Takes a licking, keeps on ticking. Let's get this into a bowl. You know what? Put it in the chocolate bowl that you melted in. If you're gonna put it in another clean bowl, then you're gonna curse me for telling you to use all these bowls you don't actually need. I'm gonna bring you a little bit closer for the cinematic pour, okay? It's actually not very cinematic and it's not really much of a pour. All right, well, so much for cinema. Now, if you got kids, you can let them lick the bowl out. Don't tell them there's avocado in this. They won't know the difference. And because they were good kids, they can lick the bowl. Now it's time to get the crust out of the freezer. We're gonna get this filling in there, smooth it out. Then I'm gonna give you a couple of options and maybe just sort of step it up a little bit more to make this like next level. All right, I'm gonna grab the crust. Oh, it's nice and cool. Forgot to mention too, when you put it in the freezer, don't put, if it's a hot pan, don't put it on top of something that is gonna be affected by the heat. Okay, let's get that filling in there. So now this is gonna go in the fridge overnight. So the chocolate in there, the coconut cream that's in there, the avocado fat, they're gonna harden up and make it like a nice fudgy consistency. I didn't mention, maybe you need one of these. This is a palette knife, so that'll be for smoothing it out. Palette knife, and then just spread that chocolate around to the edges. Nicely around, spread, spread, spread. And then you can just hold the palette knife like this and spin it. Now remember, I said I was gonna give you a couple of little, maybe sneaky tips to step it up. So these are unsweetened cocoa nibs. It's just basically a cocoa bean that's broken up. Sprinkle those in there so it's a real hit of chocolate, but it's not sweet at all. Now when I use a palette knife to flatten it out, I'm gonna push those down into the chocolate so it'll be a little sneaky surprise in there. Hot knife, see how it flattens that out nicely? A little drop, get any air out of it. A little bit, air bubbles there. One more little sneak in there, a little Himalayan pink salt. I've got it in my grinder here. Just a little tiny bit of salt on top. Super adulty, chocolatey, salty. Okay, done and done, that's ready to go. Gonna put that in the fridge overnight and then tomorrow I can unmold it and cut it up and I'm gonna show you a restaurant presentation. All right, it is the next day or tomorrow from yesterday. Yesterday's tomorrow. I brought the chocolate tart out. Now I put a little parchment paper on top of it and it was wrapped in saran wrap. That just keeps a lot of the moisture off of it. Actually, first thing I'll do is I'll show you these wonderful pans. Look at that, just pops out beautifully. And then you just have to take off the metal base. These things are fantastic. Highly recommend them. So there it is right there. I'm gonna actually make this look a little bit nicer on the outside. I've got some hot water, the palette knife. Then I'm just gonna take the hot palette knife, press it over the top, and just smooth it out a little bit more, make it look a little more professional. Okay, other than cutting it, now this is pretty much finished. Now I'm gonna do a nice restaurant presentation. What I have here is a chocolate ganache. Now you're gonna have to look, I'll put the link up here for the video for it. Really all it is it's almost like chocolate fudge. Now I'm not gonna give away the recipe, you do have to watch the other video to learn. But I've got it now, it's at about room temperature, very fudgy. What I'm gonna do is put it into a piping bag and then pipe some rosettes. I got my piping tips in here. Now a tip, pardon the pun. Use these deli containers. Put all your tips in there. They don't get all over the place. They're all in one spot. That's a tip I'm gonna use there. I have a disposable piping bag. You can buy these at probably any bakery store. Very cheap to buy. And then they're good because you can just use them and then get all the material out of them, throw them away. That way you're not having to wash out a piping bag. I hate washing piping bags out. Let's get that going. I'll bring you a little closer, show you those sexy little rosettes I'm gonna put on there. We're gonna cut it, plate presentation, and then you're gonna be able to get in your own kitchen and make your own chocolate tart. Now another tip, pardon the pun, put the tip piping bag. So I usually figure cut it about halfway there. That way the tip won't fall out when you pipe the material. Squeeze the tip through there, hold the bag over, make a little C with your hand, and then that way you can hold the bag open. And then when you put the chocolate ganache or whipped cream or whatever in there, you can just rub your spatula against your finger and it cleans it off. Another tip. Now you just take that room temperature ganache, put it in the piping bag. See that C I told you about? You can just rub the ganache or the whipped cream against your thumb. It's all off there. Now I'm just gonna squeeze it down to the tip and then start piping. Little POV action for you. Once you've squeezed all the chocolate down, just twist the bag, and that way all that material that's inside there, when you squeeze the piping bag, you're gonna squeeze down. If you don't twist it like that, all the chocolate will go up. And then you can just do some math, figure out how many slices you want. I'm gonna just start doing geometry here. Maybe I'll go 1. I'll just do quadrants. Try and do this one here so you can see it. Just twist the hand and makes a beautiful rosette. You have that blue scraper. You can still squeeze that down to the end. Perfect. Give it a little twist. 2 more out of there. Looks like I know what I'm doing. Oh yeah, those little rosettes on there. Now I can now use those as a guideline and I'll just cut in between them. So I'll garnish it up, put the cuts in there, and then we're finished. I did not mention, or I should have mentioned, you got to get your cake off that metal. I don't really want to cut onto the metal. I'm going to cut onto the cutting board. So just slide it off. There we go, get that out of the way. All right, garnish time. These are washed, by the way, obviously. What goes better than raspberry with chocolate? Maybe raspberries and chocolate and red wine. Because you got the brown on there, definitely gonna have to put some green on there. Got some mint. Don't want to cover up those rosettes too much. Maybe I'll go with a little smaller. There it is, finito. This is all done, gorgeous. Raspberries on there, rosettes. Just gonna put some marks in there and make sure my math was good. This is really rich cake, so I think you could probably get away with 12 pieces. There it is, vegan chocolate tart. Now, a couple presentations if you want. If you have a cake stand, you can put it on a cake stand. Let me put it on the cake stand first, then you can see what that looks like. Now, I'm not a pastry chef, so if I can do it, you can do it. I'll do a little plate presentation so you can see that too, and then we are finished. You can get bacon, restauranted up as I like to call it. Now, I like to use a large plate. Even though it is a small piece of cake, it looks visually so much better. All right, now I have a little bit of puree that I made here. If you watch the cheesecake video, I'll put a link in there. Show you how to make a puree. Now this one is actually not raspberry or strawberry. This is a blueberry guava. So the color's a little off. A little shaky there. You should have some more coffee. There you go. Kind of imagination is up to you, what you want to do for the presentation. I'm just gonna go with the little dots. That looks pretty good. Now I've got a little bit of that coconut cream. It doesn't hold like regular full fat cream does. A little drip over, a little drizzle over the top. 3 more raspberries on there. There we go. You can take your spoon and then just drag it through. Make those cool little swirls in there. There you go. Vegan chocolate tart, done. All right, thanks so much for watching. Now I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you are inspired to make your own vegan chocolate tart. Okay, whoops, raspberries fell over. There we go. Anyway, can't wait to tuck into this. So again, thanks a lot for watching. Thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Thanks a lot for watching and I hope you make this. I am going to give this a little taste now. Talk to you soon. See you on the next video.